Welcome to another episode, everyone. MAGA supporters are begging, beseeching, imploring Donald Trump to bring back slavery for Black Americans. You can't make this up. This is not a joke. These individuals say that Black Americans were better off when they were under the gun of white Americans, and that Donald Trump needs to go as far as to bring back slavery. It has never ended, really. It's still going on in all parts of the world, including Black people. Check these sick ass people out, man.
Come on, America. Come on, Republicans. Are you seriously going to burn this country down?
They were a slave. They were given housing, food, clothing, medical care.
Everyone in a state wants something, go ahead and have it.
So if everyone in Alabama wanted slavery back, you'd be okay with that?
Sure. If everyone in the state wants it, go ahead.
It sounds like you were born before the civil rights movement.
Oh, yeah.
So
I'll tell you what, y'all better be ready to, you know what? You little funny looking ass snow bunny, you little funny built ass, you better be ready to go to hell, because that's where you're going. We will not be the only ones dying. When y'all come with this right here, be ready.
people couldn't buy houses in your lifetime when you were maybe a
I'm
baby.
well aware of that.
You were 5 years, so you don't think there's any downstream effect?
I felt depressed at that time,
Yeah.
but that's what Martin was trying to correct. Right now, I see so many people living off the government handout.
I'm pretty sure welfare use per capita is higher in red states than blue states.
Yes, but there's so many people living off of the government handouts, and that is not that much farther away from slavery. They were a slave. They were given housing, food, clothing, medical care. The people asked them to work. Yes, there were landowners that were violent and mean to some of them, but there were others that were humanistic. But still,
I'm sorry. I had to take a breath real quick, so I won't go too crazy on this old bitch. But listen, the people who think like her, they're on their way out. This interview was probably a couple of years ago. That's Adam Mockler there. I'm familiar with that young fella. Shout out to Adam Mockler. She's probably dead now. I mean, because the people who think like that, who were around in the '60s, like Trump and all of them, they're on their way out. How old is she? She's on her way out, and that's what's going to have to happen in order for the country to change. People like this with this sort of mindset are going to have to die out. And she believes, as we just heard her say, that Black Americans were better off as slaves. That we had housing, clothing, and everything else taken care of. In other words, we set them free, and they have been unable to take care of themselves. They have been unable to function themselves because they're animals. So we had to control them in this way, and when we did, at least we were saving them from themselves. Look what happened once we released them from our grip. They haven't been the same since. They're not self-sufficient. We knew this. This is why we enslaved them from the beginning, out of love, to help them. We had some people, landowners, she said, not slave owners, but landowners, who were humanistic, she said. Yes, we had some that were violent, but we had some that were humanistic. And essentially, again, we're better off as slaves, because since we have been so-called set free, we have been unable to function. Well, that's not true. Every time that we build our own, these individuals come and tear it down. It was not just Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was so many situations where black people were independent, and they just cannot stand the fact. But this is how some of these people think that our lives belong to them. This is a human being right here, supposedly, saying that other human beings were better off under the brutal control of other people. I can't imagine even now holding another human being as a slave. I can't even fathom that as a human being. Even after what's been done to me and my people, it had to be something missing inside of you. You had to be really sick to do that. And that's clearly what these individuals are. You know, the last public, one of the last public lynchings was of a black man who was falsely accused by a white woman, these white women tears. This is why a lot of black men lost their lives by hands of the tree, of the rope, and by the hands of these diabolical, sick cave dwellers. And so it was a public outing. These, understand that these danglings from a tree, these hangings were a public affair. They were a festivity. They were let out school early, and that's what happened with one of the last situations that I'm talking about now. They let out school early for the kids that were in school. It was like a picnic, and you come. People would go to church, and the pastor in church would say, yeah, God and Almighty God, and everybody submit to God. And oh yeah, by the way, at 3 o'clock, we have a lynch over here on such and such street. Everybody show up. At church, the pastor would say this after he got finished preaching the sermon. And they got this black man and ran him through a gauntlet. There was a fever pitch, a crowd of white tea people who were chanting and hollering, get him, kill the Igor, kill the Igor. They were chanting. Kids smiling, eating sandwiches. And they sent them through the gauntlet, and they were cutting him and beating him and taking parts of his body. And with every time they would take a part of his body, the crowd would chant and yell, yeah, yeah. They're getting the more violent, the more bloodshed, the more excited they got, like heathens, like animals, like lions, tigers, vicious, ferocious, uncontrollable tigers. They cut off his genitalia and made him eat it. Yeah, they did. They cut it off and put it in his mouth and made him eat, made him chew it and swallow it. And he's bleeding everywhere. Parts of his body is missing, and now his genitalia is missing. He's bleeding everywhere, and they're steady cutting him up until basically it was just pieces of him, and they still got the pieces of him and got him on a tree. They used to have riots and fight with one another over body parts, over souvenirs. There was nothing humanistic about this. These individuals would line up black women and cut their babies out of their stomach and kick the baby's head down to see who can kick the baby's head the furthest. The head off of the baby. Take the baby out of the womb, live. Baby crying, alive, premature because the mother's not due yet. They just ripped her out. Ripped the baby out. Kick the head now to see who can kick the baby the furthest. They would make you sleep with your mother. Slaves got their mothers pregnant at gunpoint under threat of death. They will have you sleep with your brother. They would have slave rape their own brother to put fear in others. to control them. There was nothing humanistic about it. I don't want to get too graphic, obviously, but there was nothing, absolutely nothing. The horrors of it, they fed our babies to alligators. They skinned black people and made couches. They took, George Washington had the teeth of a black man. They took black people's teeth out of their mouth and put them in their own mouth. They put these concrete steel type masks on black people so that they couldn't eat while they were out there in the fields. They couldn't cheat and eat something. And they couldn't talk and congregate and conspire. So they would put these big, crazy masks on them that you couldn't speak out of. You have to imagine them. I have a picture of them. They were big and steel and shameful, dehumanizing. And they would put these on these people so that they couldn't speak and they couldn't eat while they were out there in the fields from sun up to sundown, starving. They would lynch black people, and they lynched one black man, or black boy, who was 14 years old, and then shot him up 60 times, shot his body 60 times. After he was clearly he was gone, they still shot him 60 times. And then burned his body, flames on fire to a crisp. These are sick individuals, but she believes that we were better off in that condition. She said that we were being fed. No, actually, we were not. They had masks on, and I'm gonna get a picture of that mask. I'm gonna have to show you what I'm talking about. I can't describe it properly. I'm just gonna show you one of these videos. I'm just gonna come out of nowhere and just say this is what I was talking about. It may not have anything to do with that particular video, but I had to show you what I was talking about. What I'm talking about right here. I want to stop it right here and go look for it. But they have them. And it was sick. If we were being fed, we were not. And housed, we were not. These individuals were living in mansions and not lifting a finger. The slaves cooked their food, tended to their babies, cleaned their homes, made them all of the money. They didn't have a job. They literally did not lift one finger except to beat black people, other human beings. That's the only time they lifted their fingers. This is why they want it back. Because they lazy ass didn't have to do a damn thing. Nothing. They call us lazy, but we built the country. Meanwhile, they didn't have to lift a finger the entire time, but somehow have convinced the world that they are not lazy, they are hard workers, and we're the lazy ones. You can't make this stuff up. Whoever their PR people are, we need to get a hold of them. This stuff needs to be studied. And she believes that we're better off in this condition. If we were being housed and fed, we were growing the food. We were building the homes. We were building the entire economy. Didn't give us a damn thing if you housed and fed us for working for you. You didn't do us a favor by paying us with food and housing for working for you. But we didn't get a damn thing for working for you. But constantly murdered. She comes with the old right-wing racist talking point. There are too many people getting government assistance. Yeah, your people. The data shows that white Americans benefit from government assistance more than any other demographic. Any other demographic. They receive SNAP benefits, food stamps, at a higher rate than any other demographic. They've been getting handouts from day one. Business loans, housing loans, everything that we have been unable to get. They give black people a welfare check, the same welfare check that they get, and say that black people are abusing the system and getting some sort of handout. Y'all get the same thing, but you get much more. How's it a handout giving a black person a check for $500, some welfare check for $500 and $200 worth of food stamps? But you can go to the bank and get a loan for $1 million. That's from the government. You can go and get a bank. You can go to the bank and get a loan for $1 million. Who is the government taking care of? Who is getting more from the government? Who is living off of the government? Not black people. The government won't give us nothing. They redlined us over 100 years ago and wouldn't give home loans to any individual that was in that vicinity of the redlining. Meanwhile, you all were getting homes without $1. This is what we mean by privilege. This is how the wealth, this is why you still owe us reparations, because the wealth is passed down. You were able to get a home 100 years ago or even 60 years ago that was worth $18,000 when you got that home. That same home today is worth $400,000. This is how you build wealth. But we were shunned from this practice because of our race, and you were not. You had a leg up from day one, and somehow we still caught you. You acting like we have a $2 trillion spending power in this country annually. You're acting like we're sitting around waiting on someone's assistance. No, that would be you and your people. That would be the red states, as Adamakla corrected her. That would be your people. That would be the red states. When Trump was cutting the SNAP, the red states were crying. I'm going to play it for you. They were upset. They were the ones losing their benefits. They were the ones dependent upon those benefits more than anyone else. And so first of all, that's how they were able to build wealth, and we were not. We were excluded from all of this. Business loans, personal loans, home loans, all of the things that they were able to receive, build wealth, and then pass it down. And of course, we built the country. Nearly every institution that you can think of was derived from slavery in this country. We built this entire economy. Slaves built the White House and the Capitol brick by brick with their bare hands. And for the record, if the government did give us anything, be it some damn welfare checks or whatever, they're not giving black people anything for free. You dumbass old Neanderthal. Take your ass back to your fucking cave where you belong. The world is more peaceful without people like you. It's better without people like you. You're sick. And I hate that I have to share space in the world because I'm a human being. And I hate to have to share space in the world with people who are so inhuman. Why you think that I'm the one that does not belong on earth? It's really you that does not belong on this freaking earth. It would be so much more peaceful without you. You injured and harmed, murdered every ethnicity on earth. You've dropped bombs on everyone on earth. Everyone would be much better without you people around. You don't know how to leave people alone. You think you run the fucking world. Think you're better than everybody. You're not. You're sick. You people are sick. Just let me say that if they did give us some sort of government assistance, they're not giving us anything. Black people don't ever feel bad about getting anything from this country or from this government. If they give you a check for $1 billion, if they gave every black person a check for $1 billion, every black American, it wouldn't be enough for what our people have went through and been through and have done for this country. We've made much more money than that for this country. This country would not be what it is without our labor. We literally built this economy. When you see a rich white person, don't be envious. Don't think that they're better than you. Say to yourself, that's my money, bitch. That's what you say to yourself. You know what? You got my money. My ancestors worked for free. You kept all of the money. This is how you got the wealth. And then you had the wherewithal to pass it all down. Hell, what else can you do? You can't take it with you in a casket, so you pass it down to your children, who pass it down to their children, who pass it down to Kim Kardashian and Paris Hilton. So when you see them riding by in a Rolls Royce, what, Paris Hilton is a harder worker than you? She got her wealth because she works harder than you? No. She got her wealth because it was passed down to her from her parents. And it was bequeathed to her parents from their parents. And from their parents, who took it from our parents. So when I see them, I don't say, oh, they work so hard. They're so superior. When I see them with these billions of dollars, I say they're murderers. They took this from my people. That's my money. That's what I say. That's my money. You never paid it back. We never got a damn dime. I'm not impressed. You're a thief. You stole that. You took that. You robbed for that. You killed for that. You destroyed for that. Continents, countries, demographics, and human beings. If a black person goes and gets a loan from a bank, they're not cheating the government. They're not getting some, bitch, you owe us that. Shouldn't have to pay you a damn thing back. You never paid us nothing for what we've done in this fucking country. We've never received one dime. Left slavery with nothing, and yet we still have been able to close the gap. No one else can go through what we've been through and still be around. Any other ethnicity would have been extinct. We have the whole world against us, and slavery was horrific. No one else could have survived it. And at every turn, they tried to slam us down, shut us down, and destroy us as an entire race. They put laws into place to destroy us as an entire race. And they hate the fact that we're still here. Not only still here, but thriving. And if the government gives you a damn dime, don't you for 1 second think that you owe them a damn dime back, a penny. They owe you. The government, this government, the United States government, owes every black person in this country not only an apology and a thank you, which we haven't received either one from these sick ass animals. They owe us bread, cash. Where's my money at, ho? Where my money at? Where's my money? Because you didn't pay my people, but you paid the Italians. You paid the Jews. You paid the Indians. You paid the Japanese for internment camps. You paid slave owners for the loss of their property when slavery ended. Slave owners received reparations. Everyone has gotten reparations except the black man in America. When we ask for our money for reparations, they say that we are playing the victim and begging for something that we want a handout. No, you have gotten a handout. Everything you've gotten have come from us in our labor. While you sat back and did nothing. What are you talking about a handout? You're the ones that have been receiving a handout from day one. While you sit back and did nothing. While you're calling us lazy, talking about we want a handout. As you go to banks and get $1 million loans and never pay it back. A black man get a check, an unemployment check or PPO or something. They talking about you scamming the government because you got a $2,000 check. Meanwhile, they're going to the bank getting $1 million loan and not ever giving the damn money back. Crooks and criminals on just a higher level. You're doing it for $2,000, they're doing it for $2 million. So they frown upon it. But they're just as criminal as anyone else. Oh, we know this. Slavery was a crime against humanity. They're all criminals. And they all continue to benefit from slavery. So they can say all they want. I didn't have any slaves. You were never a slave and I didn't have any slaves. So I don't have to apologize for slavery. You benefit from slavery right now. Today. All of you benefit from it. To this day. Which is why you want it back. Which is why you want racism to continue in this country. Because you don't want an equal playing field. You will lose. You know it. You're losing now. MAGA and your racist ways are over with. You're losing now. With us starting 50 million yards behind you, we're still catching up to you. That's why you're upset. We don't give a damn about you being upset, by the way. You'll get over it. But understand this. If they give you anything, black man and woman, they haven't given you anything, black man and woman. If they give you anything, $1 billion, literally, they still owe you. Are you serious? Everything they have comes from us. They haven't worked for it. Since when? What the hell did they do during slavery? They didn't work at all. They sat on their ass the entire time. Excuse me. So how is it that when they give you something minute and trivial, they accuse you of taking advantage of the government, the same government that gave the Jews reparations by the form of billions of dollars for a crime against them that happened in another country. They gave them reparations, America did, for what Germany did to them. America has not given reparations for the crimes that it has committed against its own citizens, that being black people, who built the country to where it is today. It would not be anywhere near where it is today without the black labor that has beset this country from its inception. We understand this. And yet, though we've built the wealth, you refuse to give us any of it. Though you would not have it without us. You're not giving us a handout by giving us something. We gave you the handout. That's our money. You're not doing us any favors by giving it to us. Then you won't say, well, y'all, you didn't earn it. You wasn't a slave. They didn't earn it either. But they still have the money that was passed down. That's our money. So if I go to the bank and get $1 billion loan, I don't feel like I don't owe you shit. You owe me. Where's my other $1 billion? The hell? Talking about people getting handouts, living off the government because they give you a check for $1,000. Don't let these fucking sick ass people shame you into believing that you're doing something wrong by getting a check from the government for $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000. They owe you billions of dollars. They're not doing you any damn favor. You don't owe them a damn thing. You don't owe them an explanation for giving you a freaking check. You haven't given us our real check. You never gave us our 40 acres and a mule. These people receive the same checks that you get. More of them receive these checks. They're going to gaslight you into believing that you're doing something wrong, that you're less than by receiving some sort of government assistance. Why would you think black people would need government assistance after we left slavery with nothing? After we built this country and built this economy and left with nothing? You would think you would want to give some assistance, some land, some property. Talking about a $1,500 check. Like you ain't done black people no favor by giving us some damn food stamps. Where's our money at? The hell you talking about? Don't let these sick ass people shame you. When they sat around and did nothing, the entire time you were a slave, they sat around and did nothing as you worked from sun up to sundown, and they sat around and did nothing, and now want to convince the world that you are the lazy one, that they are superior, hard-working, intellectual. You ain't shit. You're an animal. It's what the hell you are. Yes, some of the landowners were violent, but many of them were humanistic. They treated these slaves good. No, they did not. They were sick. You are sick. The descendants of these people are sick as hell. Covetous and diabolical. Every last one of you. I'm convinced. So no, we don't care about any government assistance. The Italians get it too. The Asians get it too. They've all got reparations. Was that a handout? Are they less than because you paid them for your crimes against them? And again, you paid the Jews billions of dollars for something that happened somewhere else, for white on white crime that happened in another country. That's what the Holocaust was. It was white on white crime. You feel so bad for them and so sorry for them about what happened to them that you had nothing to do with. You didn't have nothing to do with rescuing them either. That you paid them, set up a Holocaust museum here on this soil for these individuals. For something that happened on another soil. Yet you want to tear down every monument, take down the black museums in reference to what happened in this country with the citizens over here in this country. But you resurrected a Holocaust museum for them, for something that happened somewhere else, because they don't want to take accountability for what they did. To give reparations would be to admit their atrocities. And they don't have the manhood, the gall to take accountability for what they've done. They continue to play the victim. They continue to gaslight. They continue not to accept what it was. Slavery was just fine. They want to sanitize slavery, make it seem like it was okay. They treated you like human beings. No, they were sick people. tie black men up to horses. One arm this way, one arm that way, leg this way, the other leg that way. Different horses, and whoop, told the horses to go, and they would pull their limbs off in front of other slaves to scare them. These people are not human. I don't give a damn what nobody says. And they don't want to take accountability for what they've done. That's the bottom line. They never have. They don't want to admit that they're sick. This is why when the United Nations just recently voted that now the United Nations, they went through every atrocity in the world, in the history of the world. They went through every one, studied it in great detail. Every atrocity, every human atrocity, the Holocaust, different wars, etc., different slaveries, every atrocity in human history, in the history of the world. And they came back, this was just maybe 2 months ago, 3 months ago at the most, and said that American slavery was the worst crime against humanity in the history of the world. They didn't just wake up and say this. Again, they studied everything that's ever happened to other human beings in the world, in the history of the world, and concluded that what happened on American soil with black people is the worst crime in human history. All but 3 nations agreed that this was the worst crime in the history of mankind. All but 3. Argentina disagreed. Said, no, nothing to see here, folks. Israel, no, it was not the worst crime in human history. And the United States. And the United States of America, where the crime happened at. Where the crime happened at, they are still in denial. Everyone else said this is the worst crime that has ever happened. Of course, for them to agree with that would be for them to say, we've committed the worst crime in human history. They would have to admit to that. They would have to, they said, we agree, we committed the worst crime in human history. So of course they said, that was not it. The United States of America said no. But every other nation on earth who studied this, other than Israel, Argentina, and America, said yes, this was the worst crime in human history. Which means we're looking at the worst people in human history. We're looking at people who have committed the worst crime in human history, who still don't want to admit it. Donald Trump is in office right now, getting more money as president. His net worth has increased by $4 billion since he's been in office. More than any president, and more than all the presidents combined in the human history of the United States. And she's talking about black people getting a welfare check. These people scam and get billions of dollars without lifting a damn finger. They talk about you being lazy and sitting at home getting a welfare check as they sit at home in their big ass mansions scamming banks, credit cards, and the government just for millions of dollars though. So they just frown upon you because you sitting in the ghetto in some little dilapidated apartment scamming for what they believe is a welfare check. This is what they believe. But they scamming for billions of dollars, millions of dollars, all the time. They don't do a damn thing. They did not lift a finger, but have convinced the world that we are lazy and they are not. They haven't admitted that it was the worst crime in human history, because then they would have to admit that we are owed reparations, that we built this economy, that they are rich because of us. That's why she's not rich because she's a hard worker, because she's fucking smarter than someone. Black women are the smartest demographic in this country. She's not smart. She's dumb as a fucking box of rocks. Not just one, a whole box. Guarantee you. You ask her some questions she can't answer. Guarantee you she's dumb as a box of rocks. She's not smart. She has the whole world thinking she is. YT supremacy had the whole world looking at someone like her and just automatically believing that she's smart as hell. No, she's dumb as hell. Let me be the one to tell you. If ain't nobody else gonna tell you. She dumb as hell. She didn't get her money, and she probably has some, because it was passed down. She didn't get her money because she works hard. These bitches don't want to break a fucking nail. They think they too good to break a nail. She don't work hard. We worked hard for her money. Yes, even the money that she has right now, that you're still going to work slaving for to get a minimum wage check, she's still riding around sitting pretty in her Rolls Royce because of what our ancestors did for her ancestors. Make no mistake about it. And still don't want to pay up. They didn't pay everyone else. They didn't consider doing them a favor by paying them. They paid people who did nothing for the country, who did not uplift the country, who did not build the country, who did not build the country's economy, who did not make them rich. They still gave them money. We did all of the above and haven't received a damn dime. Don't let these people shame you when you say, where's my money? Because they got it. They're not ashamed of having your money and spending it in our faces and trying to shame you when you say, where's my money, government? Where's my reparations? But they got rich off of what we did. And they did nothing, but are going to shame you when you did everything and got nothing. And when you ask for your money, they're going to shame you and have you thinking there's something wrong with you asking about your money. Meanwhile, they're sitting on your money and they don't have a problem with that. Man, you don't get the hell out of here. Okay, my bad. Shit, I'm sure I'm gonna lost some people with that one. That's okay. I got to be who I am at all times. And I didn't mean to go, damn, this is a long video. And I only played a little clip. Damn. I had some more I want to play. Maybe I'll still get into it in a minute. I'm gonna leave it right there for now. Because if not, I'll go on and on for a couple of hours, believe me. But who's gonna stick around for that time? You know, I'm pretty sure I done lost a lot of people already by now. They left at the 10-minute mark, the 5-minute mark. Like, what the hell? Yeah. Appreciate all of y'all support. Just getting started with the channel, as you all know. Here, the Unwoke Culture with me, Damian Porter. Just getting started with this channel. Trying to get it going. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. I don't ask for that often or whatever. I'm trying to let my work speak for itself and let me earn y'all support and respect and subscribers or what have you. And not ask for it, but earn it, you know. But hell, I do need y'all to, try to help me get going. Give me some motivation, some incentive to keep going, because I'm about to be going on this channel nonstop. At any rate, let me know what you think in the comments. YT Americans, they want slavery back. She says that we were better off. They fed us. They gave us housing when we were slaves. You heard her. That's what she said. So, and we're getting too much. She was talking about we're getting too much government assistance. He tried to correct her, but she still didn't want to hear it. You know, that's their talking point. One of their talking points. We're getting too much government assistance, so we need to be slaves again. Because at least At least they were taking care of it. We can't take care of ourselves. If we could, we wouldn't need government assistance, is what she's saying. So, it's too much government assistance going on. Put their ass back in slavery. So we can just give them what we give them, and that's it. They're begging too much. As she spends all of our money, it's our money, that our ancestors worked for, to get at her ancestors, that they passed down to her lazy ass. Make no mistake about it. So I don't feel bad at all when I see black people getting anything from this crooked, wicked ass fucking government. You owe us way more than that, and we don't get anything. Meanwhile, y'all get homes, businesses without a dime. Still, today. Talking about somebody else getting help. You go in the bank and get loans all the time, talking about somebody else getting... Okay, let me stop, man. Let me know what you think in the comments. Stay safe and power to the people. Jeez.